Looking for a small, brand new pickup truck? Well, the Hyundai Santa Cruz is one of only 2 choices for sale in the United States. Based on the Tucson crossover, it has even more power, more capability, but all the same comforts and technology that you're used to from other Hyundai models. How well does it drive in 2026? Let's go find out. The Santa Cruz came out for 2022, just as the Ford Maverick was coming out. They're the only compact pickup trucks for sale in the United States, brand new. But the Santa Cruz is the least popular Hyundai after the Ioniq 6, which is actually being discontinued. In 2025, Ford sold 6 times as many Mavericks. Very likely this will be the last Santa Cruz, but not the last Hyundai truck. From a manufacturing standpoint, it's pretty easy to make a Santa Cruz. They take a Tucson from the same plant in Montgomery, Alabama, they chop off the back, add a 4-foot bed, lengthen the wheelbase, lengthen the total length, it's over 1 foot longer than a Tucson, and they just keep everything else pretty much the same. On this vehicle, I really just like how it looks. It's streamlined, yet there's some edge to it. It's a weird car. Or is it a truck? Or is it a crossover? I think it's all of those things, but it is small. And despite the fact that it is bigger than a Tucson, when you look at the mid-size truck market, or even any of the trucks, really, this car is tiny. And I did it again, I'm calling it a car, but that's how this looks and feels. On this trim, the Limited, you're getting 20-inch wheels, really nice looking. That was refreshed for 2025, along with the front and rear fascias, the bumpers, the grille designs. And you'll also know this is a Limited because it has body color door handles instead of black. The only other option you could get that changes the appearance dramatically is the XRT. It changes the grille in the front, red tow hooks, and you also get all-terrain tires. For a small truck, there's lots of room up front. It's the same headroom and legroom as the Tucson, but compared to that SUV, there are some subtle differences. The biggest change, and one that I really like, is the standard PRND shifter right here on the console. There's also no option for a panoramic moonroof, just the small sunroof. And you'll see a few different buttons, like for the tow mode. That's exclusive to the Santa Cruz. Otherwise, the curved displays, analog controls, and the general build quality are good. There's a nice feature here, flip-up rear seats, common on a lot of pickup trucks, but certainly not on any other Hyundai model that they sell. There's under-tray storage here, which you can hide. And coming in here, rear side airbags are standard, which is not a usual safety feature you'll find in any modern car. It's a rare feature, that's for sure. If you're getting rear air vents, though, that's only on SEL activity trims and above, and that includes the sliding window behind me. Towing capacity is pretty good, and it's better than the Maverick, up to 5,000 pounds with the turbo and all-wheel drive, 3,500 in front-wheel drive trim. However, it's back here on the bed. Hyundai does not actually claim or state a payload capacity. It says the total weight you can add to the entire vehicle, including passengers, is just over 1,400 pounds. So think about that when you've got a couple people inside. You're not putting up to 1,500 pounds like the Ford Maverick claims and states across all of its trims. But what this does have, nice integrated tonneau cover, which I really like, and this. Just like the Honda Ridgeline, there is its own under-tray storage, plus there's a 115-volt power outlet on this side over here, bed lights that you can switch on here, cleats, rails, tie down, so it's actually very usable, even though you can't put a whole lot of weight back here. You can't get this turbo engine in a Tucson. This turbo 2.5-liter inline 4 in the Santa Cruz, which you can only get on the XRT and this Limited, it's straight out of the Sonata N. It's also the same engine that's used in a lot of the base trims of Genesis cars and SUVs. It makes for a pretty entertaining ride. All-wheel drive is standard on these top 2 trims, where it's optional on the lower 3 trims. The front-wheel drive Santa Cruz, you could compare it in many ways to the front-wheel drive Maverick, only there's no hybrid option. So the fuel efficiency, it goes only as high as 30 mpg highway on those front-wheel drive models, whereas on this turbo with all-wheel drive, and that's the only way you can get the turbo is with standard all-wheel drive, it's only about 25 highway and 20 combined. The biggest hardware change, really the only hardware change for the Santa Cruz for 2026 is the transmission. The number of gears is the same, it's 8, but Hyundai switched from a dual clutch to a conventional torque converter automatic. Why do they do it? Well, I'm not really so sure. They haven't offered any explanation. To me, dual clutches are nice because they tend to shift really quickly, but they can also jerk around, especially at lower speeds. You get that clunky manual transmission effect, except you can't control the clutches. And this one responds really well in just the normal driving mode. If you get the XRT, that's how you get the terrain driving modes, so it's a little bit more off-road focus in terms of how it's managing the torque. But otherwise, everything is fully automatic here. The base engine on the Santa Cruz makes just over 190 horsepower, just over 180 pound-feet of torque. Same 2.5 liter displacement, just no turbocharger. It's really interesting driving the Santa Cruz because it feels like a much faster Tucson. It's odd. You look in the back and there's a pickup truck window and nothing behind the rear seats except an open bed. Yet from the front here, the cab, it's exactly the same as a Tucson. And with that, the same car chassis, even though this vehicle is longer in both the wheelbase and total length by a lot. Steering's really light, not a ton of feel, just like the Tucson. But the suspension is pretty sorted, and these are the largest 20-inch wheels and tires. Not a problem, just a conventional suspension, all independent. Really, it just drives like a much sportier, more engaging Tucson. Because the regular Tucson just has that normal, again, 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine. And it's much louder all the time, and I realize that, to be honest, most people probably did not choose this turbo trim because it costs a way, way, way more money than a regular Santa Cruz. But this is the way to go because really, among compact pickup trucks, and there's only two, this one is definitely the quickest out there. So that's the first thing it has going for it. And I would argue that if you don't need all of the towing capacity and the payload capacity of a mid-size truck, this also is quicker. And it's nice that it feels nice and low to the ground. It's only 0.3 of an inch higher than a regular Tucson, so it's 8.6 inches. You don't really feel that though. It doesn't feel top heavy at all. It's just weirdly fun to drive. Years later, when there's no more Santa Cruz, there'll still be plenty of them, at least enough of them, on the used car market. We'll look back at this and be like, that was cool. Hyundai made a little pickup truck. Isn't that fun? Isn't that special? Kind of just like the Subaru Baja was. There'll probably be a cult following for the Santa Cruz at some point. Right now, no one really seems to care at all that this truck, is what it really is, even exists, because it's not made by Nissan, Toyota, or the big American 3. They dominate truck sales, especially the smaller truck sales. Hyundai is supposedly going to make a bigger version of this pickup truck, which they do have in other markets. But I question that approach just because no one except Ram, GM, and Ford have ever been able to put any really significant market share in that segment. Smaller trucks, yes. I think Hyundai had a really good thing going here because you just don't need a giant truck all the time. Car-like handling, a lot of performance, better efficiency. Although in this turbo trim, not really compared to some of the mid-size trucks that are out there. But it's approachable and it's actually funky looking. I like it. If I wasn't looking behind me, I would have no idea that I was driving a pickup truck. In many ways, it's like the Honda Ridgeline. And the Honda Ridgeline is just like a Honda Pilot. I like it when manufacturers take risks, and that's really what this Santa Cruz has been all about for Hyundai since they came out with it for 2022. The top trims of the Santa Cruz have a highway driving assist, but it is an older version. It's number 1 versus number 2, so it doesn't have quite all the same features. But again, the sportiness of the Santa Cruz is in full effect. Something you can only get with a car-based pickup truck, not a truck-based pickup truck. Braking isn't sporty, but again, it's secure. This is just a much more powerful, more versatile Tucson. A 12.3-inch touchscreen is standard with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Navigation, factory navigation, is only on the XRT in the Limited, and it does come with over-the-air updates to update the maps, and all the vehicles have software updates included. I like the fact that there are still hard buttons here, volume knobs. You have analog temperature controls. These are touch sensitive, but they respond well, and they're always in the exact same place. Plenty of analog controls. And whether you're on the go or parked, easier to do this while parked, you can adjust so many different settings here. Hyundai does a great job of actually explaining what it's doing, illustrating it, so you're never gonna have an issue there. I just like the fact that it looks modern. It seems like it could be overwhelming if you're not used to this, but hey, if you've driven a car in the last several years, you're gonna find this system to be a heck of a lot easier than most systems out there. A digital instrument panel comes standard, but if you want features like this blind spot view monitor, you've got to upgrade to the bigger and more advanced system. You can upgrade how this looks, all the usual things, but it's just really easy to use. Steering wheel controls right here, most of your info is here, driver assist, navigation when that's set. So again, digital but easy. The 2026 Hyundai Santa Cruz starts at $30,000. There are 5 trims. As tested, the Limited with sage green paint and floor mats with destination, $46,000. The competition, only the Ford Maverick. Mid-size trucks like the Toyota Tacoma, Nissan Frontier, or the Honda Ridgeline, those sell in higher numbers. If you want a Hyundai pickup truck, you better act quickly. Rumor has it that Hyundai is not going to be making this. They're going to be making a larger truck. But whatever they decide, the small compact pickup truck market just isn't very big. That's obvious. Most buyers want larger trucks. I'm of the decision where I would rather have a vehicle like this. It's easier to park, much quicker to drive, more efficient. Now, while this isn't my favorite compact pickup truck, because to me, that's the Ford Maverick in all of the trims I've driven and tested, this one is quite compelling. Now, at this price, it may turn off some people who may want to go up into that mid-size territory. You gotta be careful with your options. But the turbocharged engine, all of the technology, and the unique style, and 5,000 pounds of towing is no small feat. What do you think? And if you want more pickup truck reviews, go to CarGurus.com and we'll see you next time.